Trying to decide if I want to look like studious. Oh no, there's a glare. It's not caffeine. You'll get that joke in about 20 minutes. You might be like, Aaron, where the fuck have you been? I've been at school. I've been in the city. I've been having great nights.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship. Wait, we got a drink. Next to the team. Yeah, we can handle it. Ay, as soon as I go and I step in arenas, they call me the champ. You know what it is. Know what I do. Know who I am. Who don't understand? Yeah, that's overdue. My trophy say that's overdue. My brand should have been more than love. Yeah.
I've been having bad, very low nights. I've been learning. I've been working. I've been doing it all. You might not give a shit. First impression, first semester, it's now Christmas break. Loving my life. I would just wish I could do more of this in that life era of mine, but can't get everything you want, can you? No, you cannot. This story starts with me being naive. Obviously, when you go to school, people call it the frat flu. Frat flu. You are literally entering yourself in the prime germ replication pothole. This is not the place to go if you are a germaphobe. When my roommate, I live in a triple, I have the two best amazing roommates. When my first roommate got sick, we all kind of assumed that there was going to be this domino process where like one of us goes down, the other two are gonna as well. If you go down, I'm going down too, bitch. Like we're fighting this together. Let's just say medication and NyQuil can only do so much. First time I got sick, October, about like the week before Halloween, because I was like, please just feel better for Halloween weekend. I was like, I need to feel better. We go about Halloween weekend. I'm having fun. I look cute. I'm also working that weekend, so I'm adding extra strain. I'm not sleeping a lot, but I get through the weekend and it was great. I was fine. Halloween weekend was great. I like got over it. I was chugging liquid IV.
But
I developed a raging cough, a disgusting cough. That next week, I quite literally hit rock bottom. I developed the worst muscle pain and tension I ever have. Like I was turning like this in class because I was sitting with a straight posture. Mara does not sit with a straight posture. I couldn't move my back without having a full body reverberation of pain. My dad one day says,
I'm gonna come pick you up, take you to urgent care.
That hospital visit, I am prescribed benzonatate, which is a cough suppressant. Dry cough all the time. My ribs were getting sore from like you know what I mean, like the clenching I was doing. My wish came true. I felt better. Like my cough was still there. My cough literally never left. The only blessing of my first sickness was that I didn't have any of like the nasal symptoms or like the nasal drainage, the throat drainage. It was just this cough that I literally could not kick. And then we're coming up on ER visit number 2. This was early November.
TMI.
I was having girl problems and did not get my period for 81 days. Obviously, I'm not used to maintenance of that. So I accidentally leave a tampon, I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube, in for around 14 to 15 hours. That day, I get so sick. And I was like, I was just so frustrated because my like roommates got over their sickness when it first all got passed down and like it was still lingering with me. I was still taking cough suppressants, like I was taking Dayquil, liquid IV, NyQuil. I work every other week. This happened to be a week that I was working. On weeks I work, I do 4 shifts, 4 5-hour shifts. And my job is physically demanding as a nurse aide. So you're on your feet. You're never sitting down. This was my final shift of the week. This was Sunday night. Like the whole next week I don't work. Going into the shift, I didn't feel good. Man, like an hour in, I had to perform something with a patient that required like me standing still for a very long amount of time. I just got so lightheaded. I was getting sick to my stomach. I could see myself, the way I was standing with the patient, I could see myself in the mirror, and like I was just like sheet white. My lips were white. Like I didn't want to leave the shift. It was my last shift like for a week. I was like, just literally fight through it. In hindsight, probably should have went home. But I made it through the shift. I go back to my dorm. I walk in the dorm, start bawling to my roommates. And this is the first time they've seen me cry. I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I just want to get fucking better. I was so frustrated. I was like, I feel like shit still. I have so much to do. Like, head hits the pillow, go to sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, convulsively shaking. I knew I had fever. Like, I've never felt that warm to the touch in my life. Called my mom and I said, I think I have TSS. Because I left my pod in for 15 hours. I thought that was the problem. Go to the ER. They're like, no, we don't think it's that. Start an IV. They prescribed me an inhaler. I've never used an inhaler a day in my life. They said the amount of stress I was putting on my body with all the persistent coughing was not good or whatever. I was like, I just gotta ride it out. It's college. I mean, it's college. Like, you're just gonna be fucking sick all the time. You're around crazy people. I'm sure very uncleanly people in close quarters. Let me set the scene for you guys for ER visit number 3. The main event, as I should say. This was a week I didn't work because that previous Sunday, was when I did that shift where I thought I was gonna die and puke and vomit and just like crumple into a ball, and then went to the ER. So now this is Tuesday night. I didn't feel like I got significantly better from that second ER visit, but I was like, I have a nursing quiz. I studied. I was like, literally, it was an 8 a.m. quiz. Okay, this was an 8 a.m. class I had on Wednesday. And I was like, it's fine. You'll take the quiz. It'll be like 20 minutes. You'll just get to leave right away and then you can come sleep before you go back to studying. That is not how the morning went. I wake up on my right side. I sit up. Both my roommates don't have a class for another 2 or 3 hours. Immediately I'm like, whew, my chest kind of hurts. Like, really bad. And then I like take a deep breath to like test the waters. You know how sometimes you get that pain? My rib cage was just like puncturing my lungs. Does that even make sense? I don't know. And then I notice my right hand is not doing what my brain is telling it to do. And it's just not doing that at all. And my fingers are numb and tingly. Now, I may be a first-year nursing student, but if you're not fucking stupid, you know chest pain and limb numbness or weakness, specifically your left arm, is a sign something's wrong with your heart. Now, I was like, okay, I've only ever heard of left arm weakness. I've never heard of right arm. I stand up. I feel like I'm gonna puke. And I'm like, oh my God, I need water. Because they prescribed me that inhaler because they said I was straining my lungs too much from coughing, I was like, that's probably it. I puff my inhaler, breathe out, take another puff, breathe out. Don't feel any better. Call my mom. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I have a nursing quiz in 15 minutes. I told her I had chest pain, my arm was weak. I was like, I really think something's wrong. She was like,
You need to wake up your roommate and Uber to the hospital in the area.
Now, I live in the city. And the hospital in the city is not the best hospital to go to, if you know what I mean. I wake up one of my roommates. She gets out of bed because when I'm a pretty chill person, I'd like to say, but when I said something was wrong, she was up. She was up, girl. She's running around getting dressed. Like, I'm calling an Uber. This is so gross. It really just shows our bond. She's peeing on the toilet. And I run to the bathroom and say, I'm gonna puke. She's peeing on the toilet and goes like this. And I wedge my little head in that crevice and puke. Not once, twice. I call my mom again. I'm like shaking on the bathroom floor. My chest pain is so bad. I'm leaning.
Oh, bitch, you got me fucked up.
I'm leaning against like the bathtub, like facing the toilet. Like, she was like, never mind, I'm coming to get you. She was already on her way in the first place, but she was like, please just wait like 10 minutes. My mom's gonna come get me. Get in the car with my mom. I am sitting over in the car seat like this, like trying to get air in my lungs, because the only way it felt like I was breathing through the chest pain was when I was like hurled over. All right, so we make it to the ER. Most emergency rooms are like this like roundabout thing, so like emergency vehicles can pull up, or like people can drop off someone who's had a traumatic injury. My mom stops the car in the roundabout, walks me in. The security guard's like, no, you can't leave your car there. And she was like,
okay, it's fine. Just like check her in, then come grab your car right away. What?
They ask for your symptoms. My symptoms are chest pain and right arm numbness and weakness. Well, she kind of looks at me. She's like, jots it down. She's like, you can have a seat. These people look like they've been waiting there for hours. There are couples like sleeping on each other. I take a seat. I hear my name. I crumple up. They take a set of vitals. And while they're doing this, they're putting patches on me attached to an EKG to read my heart. I'm familiar with these because I work with these. This was not a 5-patch EKG, if you know what I mean. This was a 12. There are 2 people in the room. There's a woman and a man. The man is working the EKG. The woman is asking me questions. The heart machine's reading. He prints it. Comes out on a piece of paper. He looks at it. He looks at me. He looks at it. He's like, get her in bed 8. He speaks some words with her. She's like, take your clothes off, girl. She's like, take your clothes off, get in a gown. I'm in the gown, not covered well, might I add. I'm also crying because my mom is in there because she had to go park the fucking car. Throws me in the chair, throws my backpack on me and like all my clothes, and like runs me back to like not the triage center anymore. Like, we're like in the emergency room beds. Puts me in the bed, reattaches me to an EKG. They're printing them and printing them and reading them and reading them. There is like so many people coming in the room. Like, I was so overwhelmed with just like everything that was happening. They told me that they saw irregularities in my heart function on the EKG. I didn't know what that means. I was like irregularities, like, okay, like, doesn't that happen often? Like IV goes in the arm, bam, I'm attached to something. Something's dripping. And it was not my outfit. My outfit was not dripping. I was in a gown. While that was happening, the cardiac team first comes and sees me. Finally, my mom comes and sees me. The nurse talks to my mom about like what's happening. And they're like, we have an MRI ordered for her to like get a better look at my heart.
I'm going to get an MRI and they made me take out my triples. So hopefully they stay open.
The cardiac team comes back, and unfortunately we were not able to get the MRI that day. So they were like, we want her for observation overnight. In that moment, my fate was I was staying the night in a hospital bed at the place I work. I feel like I waited in the ER about like 3 or 4 hours before I was able to get a room on the cardiac unit. Once I got to the room, I met my nurse. She was awesome. I had my entire stay there. And that night, they did an echo, which is like an ultrasound for your heart. It took about 45 minutes, and I had to do like breathing patterns. They would say, okay, breathe in, breathe out, till about halfway, and then they go, stop. And then I'd have to hold it like that. And then they'd say, okay, you can breathe. There was a guy and a girl who was training. She didn't always get the right image, so they had to do it again. And because your heart is like behind your rib cage, she had to like shove the ultrasound probe like in my ribs, and it hurt so bad. Sometimes I was like, oh my god, like, please just get the image, girl. Like, I was rooting for her. I knew she was stressed because she was training, but I was like, please, like, I can't. That was my first night in the hospital. I'm saying first because there was a second one. So that night, I'm under the impression the next day I'm getting an MRI. I get my night shift nurse, and let me tell you, he was a cutie. I had to be woken up every 4 hours. I was Q4 vitals, so every 4 hours I had a set of vitals done. I had a blood draw at 2 in the morning, so I was up till about 3 in the morning. I didn't sleep because there's so many people going in and out of the room. So I was just watching movies, emailing all my professors too about what was happening. Next day, MRI gets pushed back because they triage the list of patients who need an MRI, and I was getting pushed to the bottom of the list.
Here's a tour of every time I've been poked. My IV, literally like a minute after they got me into the room, the IV stopped working for a bit when she was getting her second blood sample, so she had to re-stick me in this arm and take a ton of blood. And then last night I got woken up to get more blood, and she wanted it from here. And this is the sample they drew. I had low magnesium, so he had to give me a drip in the middle of the night.
This was probably the funniest thing that happened at my stay in the hospital. So the original guy who took my EKG, the first one, like when I first got pulled from the waiting room, he came back to that room I was in for about 3 to 4 hours before I got sent to my actual bed on the cardiac unit. And literally, I wasn't even in his care. He wasn't a physician of mine. I wasn't a patient of his. He opens the door, which I'm like, how is this allowed? And he's like,
I'm just so curious, did they figure out what was wrong with you? Because I have never seen someone this young with a heart issue like you're having right now.
People were just confused why an 18-year-old is on a cardiac unit. Day 2 in the hospital, no MRI, nothing really too exciting happened. The fire alarm did go off, and I was slightly concerned for my life, but then again, I was like, what else could happen that'll blow me away? Because at that point, not much. My nurse, my night shift nurse, and she's like, do you want to see your original EKG? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. I'm going to explain to you what was wrong. When you read a heart rhythm on an EKG, there's something called an ST elevation. Basically, the line is supposed to get back to a certain point. It's supposed to meet even, and mine was just not. And an ST elevation, the best way to put it is a precursor to cardiac arrest or a heart attack. So what they figured out is because I had been sick for 2 months, in all the tests they ran, they found out I had rhinovirus, which is pretty much the common cold, but it is a virus, which means it takes longer for your body to beat the virus. Because I had been fighting it for so long, my heart got inflamed. And in the original blood test they did in the emergency room, my troponin levels were extremely high.
She said my troponin levels were extremely high, and I was like, I know what that is.
Rhinovirus caused inflammation of my heart, so it increased troponin levels, caused the cardiac arrhythmias, which was the ST elevation, giving me the symptoms of chest pain and arm weakness. Day 3.
Good morning. It is 6:55 a.m. I just took a potassium pill, and it was gargantuous. Anyways, I'm gonna give you a breakfast tour. Eggs, pancakes, sausage, granola for my yogurt parfait, fruit, and some coffee with cream and sugar, of course. And I go NPO at 8, so I have to eat this in an hour and then be done.
I'm finally getting my MRI. The same thing happens as the echo. I have to do the breathing. The reason for doing the MRI was they wanted to see how advanced the inflammation was. So they knew there was inflammation because of my troponin levels, but they wanted to see actually how it was affecting my heart. Final diagnosis, I have myocarditis, which means inflammation of the heart muscle. I am discharged from the hospital. I am on heart inflammation medication. While I am so glad to be okay, this diagnosis has changed my life right now in my current state. I have to watch heart strain. If you watch my channel, you would know I'm a runner. So hearing that I couldn't do that as I was used to or like as I wanted to was kind of hard. Hopefully I'll be able to run by the summer, but I have a few appointments coming up to do more blood tests to see if my troponin levels are going down, which hopefully they are, because that tells us that the inflammation of my heart is going down. Yeah, but I'm alive. I want to put out videos. I miss doing it. You thought you got rid of me. I know. There's some people out there who probably wish I did die. Thank you for watching. I'm okay. And get ready for some more videos. I almost forgot something. And most importantly, this is what you need to take away from this video. Not be grateful for every day you wake up. This is what you need to take away.